It's October 25th, 1944. 2:30 a.m., Formosa Strait. Commander Richard O'Kane stands in the conning tower of USS Tang, watching a Japanese convoy scatter through his periscope. His submarine has already sunk 2 cargo ships tonight. Now he's lining up a shot at a 3rd transport. Tang's forward torpedo tubes are empty, so O'Kane orders his crew to fire from the stern tubes. Tube number 8, final torpedo of the 5th patrol. The Mark 18 electric torpedo launches clean. O'Kane watches it run straight for 20 seconds. Then the phosphorescent wake curves. Hard left. The torpedo is turning, coming back, toward Tang. "All back emergency!" O'Kane screams into the intercom. Tang's diesels roar. The submarine shudders, trying to reverse at full power. The crew has 20 seconds, maybe less. The torpedo is running at 46 knots. Tang can't outrun it. At 2:48 a.m., the Mark 18 slams into Tang's stern, detonating 600 pounds of Torpex explosive. The blast kills everyone in the after torpedo room instantly. Seawater floods through ruptured bulkheads. Tang goes down stern first in 180 feet of water. Of the 87 men aboard, only 9 survive. 5 make it to the surface immediately. 4 more escape from the forward torpedo room using Momsen lungs, emergency breathing devices designed for shallow water escapes. Commander O'Kane is one of them. This is how the most lethal American submarine of World War II died. Killed by her own weapon. But before that final catastrophic moment, Tang and her crew had rewritten the book on submarine warfare. Richard Hetherington O'Kane wasn't supposed to be a submarine commander. He graduated from the Naval Academy in 1934, served on destroyers, and didn't volunteer for submarines until 1938. By 1942, he was executive officer aboard USS Wahoo under Commander Dudley "Mush" Morton. Morton was aggressive, borderline reckless. O'Kane learned everything from him. They hunted Japanese shipping in the Yellow Sea and East China Sea like wolves. Wahoo sank 19 ships in 5 patrols. Morton died when Wahoo went down in October 1943, killed by Japanese depth charges in La Perouse Strait. The Navy gave O'Kane his own boat. Tang, hull number SS-306, launched at Mare Island Naval Shipyard in August 1943. Balao-class submarine, 301 feet long, 27 feet wide, displacement of 2,400 tons submerged. She could dive to 400 feet, though O'Kane would push her deeper when necessary. Top speed, 20 knots surfaced, 9 knots submerged. Armed with 10 torpedo tubes, 6 forward, 4 aft, and a 5-inch deck gun. Her crew, 87 officers and enlisted men, crammed into a steel tube with recycled air and the constant smell of diesel fuel, battery acid, and unwashed bodies. O'Kane took Tang to war in January 1944. His mission: hunt Japanese merchant ships, tankers, troop transports, cut Japan's supply lines, starve their war machine. American submarines were doing to Japan exactly what German U-boats were trying to do to Britain: sink cargo faster than it could be replaced. By October 1944, Tang had completed 4 war patrols. The official Navy count credited her with 24 ships sunk, totaling 93,124 tons. Some estimates ran higher. O'Kane's patrol reports claimed 33 vessels destroyed. Either way, Tang was one of the deadliest submarines in the Pacific Fleet. O'Kane had earned the Navy Cross 3 times. His crew worshipped him. His tactics were unorthodox, aggressive, and brutally effective. But there was a problem plaguing the entire American submarine fleet. A problem that had killed thousands of Japanese sailors and nearly derailed the entire Pacific submarine campaign. A problem that would ultimately destroy Tang herself. The torpedoes didn't work. Real quick before we dive deeper, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. What city, what state, what country, and what time is it where you are. Always cool to see how global this community is. All right, let's talk about why American torpedoes were failing. American submarines in 1942 were sailing into combat with weapons that didn't work. The Mark 14 torpedo, standard issue for the entire submarine fleet, had 3 catastrophic defects. The Bureau of Ordnance had never properly tested it. Congress had refused to fund live-fire testing during the Depression. The Navy fired exactly 2 live Mark 14s before World War II started. 2. They tested the rest with dummy warheads and assumed everything would work fine in combat. It didn't. Problem 1. The torpedoes ran 10 feet deeper than their depth settings. A captain would set his torpedo to run at 10 feet, targeting a ship's waterline. The torpedo would actually run at 20 feet, passing harmlessly underneath the target's keel. Submariners fired perfect shots and watched Japanese ships sail away untouched. They filed reports. The Bureau of Ordnance ignored them. It took until June 1943, 18 months into the war, for the Navy to officially acknowledge the depth problem and recalibrate the torpedoes. Problem 2. The magnetic exploder. The Mark 6 magnetic influence exploder was supposed to detonate when it sensed a ship's magnetic field, breaking the ship's keel without direct contact. In theory, brilliant. In practice, it detonated prematurely, exploded late, or didn't explode at all. The Earth's magnetic field varied depending on latitude. Water temperature affected it. Metal debris from previous battles threw it off. Torpedoes were exploding 50 feet from their targets or running straight through Japanese convoys without detonating. Submarine commanders started deactivating the magnetic exploder, relying only on contact detonation. Problem 3. The contact exploder. The Mark 6 contact pistol was designed to detonate when the torpedo hit a ship's hull at a perpendicular angle. But if the torpedo hit at too sharp an angle, which happened constantly during close-range attacks, the firing pin would crumple without triggering the detonator. Submariners watched their torpedoes slam into Japanese ships and bounce off like pool balls. Duds. One submarine commander fired 9 torpedoes at a Japanese tanker, 8 hits, 0 detonations. The tanker sailed away. The Bureau of Ordnance fought every fix. They insisted the torpedoes were fine, and the submarine captains were incompetent. They threatened courts-martial. They blamed poor marksmanship, bad tactics, operator error. Meanwhile, American submarines were dying. Japanese destroyers would depth charge a submarine into surfacing, and the sub would fire its remaining torpedoes point-blank at its attacker. The torpedoes would fail. The submarine would die. By mid-1943, the Navy had finally fixed the depth and magnetic exploder problems, but the contact pistol issue persisted. So the Bureau of Ordnance developed the Mark 18 electric torpedo. No steam wake to give away the submarine's position. Slower than the Mark 14, 46 knots versus 46 knots. Weight, same speed. Correction. Mark 14 ran at 46 knots. Mark 18 ran at 29 knots. Significantly slower, but quieter, wakeless, harder for Japanese lookouts to spot. The Mark 18 had its own problems. Circular runs. The torpedo's gyroscope could malfunction, causing the weapon to turn in a wide circle and potentially hit the submarine that fired it. Rare, but documented. Several American submarines had reported near misses from their own torpedoes. One boat, USS Tullabee, had been sunk by her own Mark 18 in March 1944. Only one survivor. The official report listed the cause as own torpedo. O'Kane knew all of this. Every submarine commander did. They fired their weapons knowing there was a chance, small but real, that those weapons might kill them instead of the enemy. They fired anyway, because by late 1944, the torpedo problems were mostly solved. The Bureau of Ordnance had finally gotten it right. The Mark 18 electric torpedo was working reliably. Mostly. O'Kane's tactics weren't subtle. While most submarine commanders attacked submerged during daylight, fired from long range, and dove deep to escape, O'Kane did the opposite. He attacked on the surface at night. He closed to point-blank range, sometimes less than 1,000 yards. He stayed on the surface during counterattacks, using Tang's superior speed and maneuverability to dodge Japanese destroyers. His philosophy was simple: get close, shoot straight, sink everything. Tang's first war patrol launched January 22, 1944. Destination: Caroline Islands and Marianas. O'Kane spent 51 days at sea. He sank 5 Japanese ships totaling 17,200 tons. One engagement showed exactly how he operated. February 17th, near Truk Atoll. O'Kane spotted a cargo ship escorted by 2 sub-chasers. Standard doctrine said wait until nightfall, attack submerged, fire from 3,000 yards minimum. O'Kane surfaced in broad daylight, closed to 1,500 yards, and fired 3 torpedoes. All 3 hit. The cargo ship, Gyoten Maru, went down in 4 minutes. The sub-chasers scrambled. O'Kane dove, went deep, and slipped away while they dropped depth charges a mile off target. Second patrol, March 16th to April 30th, 1944, East China Sea and Yellow Sea. Tang sank 6 ships, 20,100 tons. April 26th was the standout night. O'Kane found a 10-ship convoy northeast of Nagasaki, 2 escorts. He surfaced after sunset and positioned Tang ahead of the convoy's track. When the convoy closed within 1,000 yards, he fired 6 torpedoes in rapid succession. Spread pattern, targeting multiple ships simultaneously. 4 hits, 2 cargo ships and 2 tankers. Explosions lit up the night sky. Burning fuel oil spread across the water. O'Kane reloaded and attacked again. 2 more torpedoes, 1 more tanker. 5 ships sunk in a single engagement. The escorts counterattacked. A Japanese destroyer spotted Tang's silhouette and charged. O'Kane didn't dive. He ordered flank speed and ran on the surface, zigzagging, forcing the destroyer to chase Tang's wake, while Tang's lookouts tracked the enemy ship's position. When the destroyer got too close, O'Kane swung Tang around, presented his stern tubes, and fired 2 torpedoes at the destroyer from 800 yards. Both missed. But the destroyer captain lost his nerve, broke off, and retreated. O'Kane escaped. Third Patrol, June 8 to July 8, 1944. Support for the Saipan invasion. Tang sank 10 ships, 39,100 tons. This patrol made O'Kane legendary. June 24th, off the coast of Japan. Tang encountered a convoy of 6 cargo ships with 3 escorts. O'Kane attacked twice that night. First attack, 4 torpedoes, 3 ships sunk. Second attack, 3 torpedoes, 2 more ships sunk. 5 ships destroyed in 6 hours. The Japanese Navy designated Tang the most dangerous submarine in the Pacific. Fourth Patrol, August 31st to September 25th, 1944. Formosa Strait and East China Sea. Tang sank 2 ships and damaged 3 others. Lower numbers, but O'Kane rescued 22 downed American airmen from the water after B-29 raids on Formosa. He surfaced in broad daylight under Japanese air cover and pulled the pilots aboard. The Navy awarded him his 3rd Navy Cross. By October 1944, Tang had sunk 24 confirmed ships in 4 patrols. O'Kane's crew was exhausted but confident. They trusted their captain completely. O'Kane's methods worked. Close-range surface attacks, aggressive maneuvering, no hesitation. The tactics Mush Morton had pioneered, O'Kane had perfected. But there was one variable O'Kane couldn't control. One element of submarine warfare that killed submarines regardless of tactics, training, or courage. Equipment failure, mechanical malfunction. Bad luck. Tang's 5th Patrol would prove that sometimes the enemy you can't see coming is the one you fire yourself. Tang's 5th Patrol started October 11, 1944. Target area, Formosa Strait between Taiwan and mainland China. High-traffic shipping lane. Japanese convoys moving supplies south to the Philippines, where American forces were preparing to invade Leyte. O'Kane's orders: sink everything. By October 23rd, Tang had already destroyed 11 ships. 11. In 12 days. O'Kane was on a rampage. He'd fired 22 torpedoes and hit with nearly every shot. Tang's torpedo rooms were running low. O'Kane had 8 torpedoes left, 4 forward, 4 aft. October 24th, 11 p.m. Tang's radar picked up a large convoy northwest of Turnabout Island. O'Kane tracked it through the night. By midnight, he'd counted the formation. 7 cargo ships, 3 tankers, and 13 escorts. Destroyers, frigates, patrol boats. The biggest convoy Tang had encountered all patrol. O'Kane called his officers to the conning tower. Battle stations. The convoy was zigzagging, making targeting calculations difficult. O'Kane decided to attack from ahead, forcing the convoy to steam directly toward Tang's position. Classic ambush. He maneuvered Tang to the convoy's projected track and waited. At 2 a.m., the first ships came into visual range. O'Kane raised the periscope. Massive cargo ships, fully loaded, riding low in the water. Target-rich environment. 2:06 a.m. O'Kane fired the first torpedo. Forward tubes. Target, lead cargo ship. Hit. Explosion amidships. The ship listed immediately. 2:08 a.m. Second torpedo. Another cargo ship. Hit. Direct hit below the bridge. The ship broke in half. Escorts reacted, searchlights sweeping the water. O'Kane dove Tang to 150 feet and went silent. Japanese destroyers charged over Tang's position, dropping depth charges. Close, hull rattling close, but not close enough. O'Kane waited 30 minutes, then surfaced. 2:42 a.m. The convoy had scattered but was still within range. O'Kane spotted a transport and 2 tankers. He closed to 1,500 yards, fired 3 more torpedoes. 2 hits. 1 tanker exploded, fuel oil igniting across the surface. The transport took a torpedo amidships and began sinking. Tang's forward tubes were empty. 5 torpedoes remaining, all in the stern tubes. O'Kane swung Tang around to bring the stern tubes to bear. A cargo ship, later identified as Kogan Maru, 6,600 tons, was limping away from the convoy, damaged but still afloat. O'Kane closed the range, won 200 yards. He fired 2 torpedoes. Both hit. Kogan Maru went down fast, stern first. 3 torpedoes left. The escorts were converging. O'Kane counted 4 destroyers heading toward Tang's position. He could dive and escape, or he could press the attack. There were still targets. A transport, Ibarra Maru, was dead in the water, listing but not sinking. O'Kane decided to finish her. He maneuvered Tang into firing position, stern tubes facing the target. Range, 900 yards. 2:30 a.m. Tube number 7, fired, hit. Ibarra Maru rolled over and sank. 2 torpedoes left. O'Kane spotted another transport through the darkness. He lined up the shot. Range, 800 yards. Perfect firing solution. He ordered tube number 8, final torpedo, to fire. The Mark 18 launched clean. No mechanical issues. The electric motor hummed, propelling 3,000 pounds of steel and explosives through the water at 29 knots. O'Kane tracked the phosphorescent wake through his binoculars. Straight run for 15 seconds. Then the wake curved. Left. Hard left. Circular run. All back emergency. O'Kane's voice cracked over the intercom. Tang's engines screamed. The submarine shuddered, trying to reverse. Too slow. The torpedo completed its circle. 20 seconds from launch to impact. At 2:48 a.m., the Mark 18 struck Tang's stern, 3 feet below the waterline, directly beneath the after torpedo room. The explosion tore Tang's stern off. The after torpedo room, maneuvering room, and engine rooms flooded instantly. 30 men died in the first 10 seconds. Tang's stern sank immediately. The bow pointed skyward at a 45-degree angle, then slid backward into the Formosa Strait. Depth, 180 feet. Time from explosion to complete submersion, 90 seconds. 30 men were on deck or in the conning tower when the torpedo hit. They jumped or were thrown into the water. Japanese escorts circled the survivors. searchlights sweeping across the debris field. 5 men survived the surface. 4 more escaped from the forward torpedo room using Momsen lungs, breathing devices that allowed emergency ascents from depths up to 200 feet. O'Kane was one of them. He reached the surface, gasping, lungs burning, ears bleeding from pressure changes. A Japanese patrol boat fished him out of the water. Tang was gone. 24 hours later, Japanese destroyers dropped depth charges on the wreck to ensure no one else escaped. They killed the men still trapped inside, waiting to die. The 9 survivors spent the next 10 months as prisoners of war. The Japanese took them to Formosa, then to a Funa interrogation camp near Yokohama, then to a Mori POW camp in Tokyo Bay. The treatment was brutal: starvation rations, beatings, forced labor. O'Kane weighed 180 pounds when Tang went down. By August 1945, he weighed 88 pounds. His crew fared worse. Several couldn't walk. One man, motor machinist's mate Floyd Caverly, died from malnutrition and dysentery in February 1945. The Japanese interrogators knew exactly who they'd captured. They showed O'Kane their intelligence files on Tang: ship movements, attack patterns, kill estimates. The Japanese Navy had been hunting Tang specifically for months. They told O'Kane he'd sunk 33 ships. O'Kane corrected them. He insisted on 24 confirmed, maybe 27 total. The Japanese laughed. Their records showed more. August 15, 1945. Japan surrendered. American forces liberated Omori Camp 2 weeks later. O'Kane and the 7 surviving Tang crew members flew back to the United States. The Navy debriefed them extensively. They wanted every detail about Tang's final patrol, the torpedo malfunction, and the POW experience. March 27, 1946. President Harry Truman presented Commander Richard O'Kane with the Medal of Honor. The citation credited Tang with sinking 24 Japanese ships totaling 93,824 tons in 5 war patrols. It was the highest confirmed tonnage of any American submarine in World War II. O'Kane also received 3 Navy Crosses, 3 Silver Stars, and the Legion of Merit. His crew received 2 Presidential Unit citations. Post-war analysis confirmed Tang's record. The Joint Army-Navy Assessment Committee reviewed Japanese shipping records captured after the war. Final tally: 24 ships sunk, 93,124 tons. Some historians argue the number should be higher, citing discrepancies in Japanese record-keeping and ships Tang damaged that later sank. But 24 confirmed kills made Tang the most lethal American submarine of the war by tonnage sunk per patrol. The circular run that killed Tang wasn't unique. Post-war investigations found that Mark 18 torpedoes experienced gyroscope failures at a rate of approximately 1.5%. Out of every 100 torpedoes fired, 1 or 2 would circle back. USS Tullabee lost March 1944. USS Tang lost October 1944. Possibly others where the cause was never confirmed. The Navy redesigned the gyroscope system in 1945, too late for Tang. O'Kane stayed in the Navy until 1957, retiring as Rear Admiral. He never commanded another submarine. He wrote 2 books, Clear the Bridge in 1977 and Wahoo in 1987, documenting his experiences under Mush Morton and his own command of Tang. He died January 16, 1994, at age 83. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Tang's tactics became doctrine. Post-war submarine commanders studied O'Kane's patrol reports: close-range surface attacks, aggressive maneuvering, maximum exploitation of radar and fire control systems. The lessons Tang proved in combat shaped American submarine warfare through the Cold War and beyond. Modern attack submarines still practice the aggressive, close-range engagement principles O'Kane perfected. The wreck of USS Tang lies in 180 feet of water off the coast of China. The exact coordinates remain classified. She's a war grave, protected under international law. 78 men are still entombed inside her hull. Tang sank 24 Japanese ships in 5 patrols. Then she was destroyed by the 24th torpedo she fired on her final night. The math is almost poetic. 1 torpedo per confirmed kill. The most successful American submarine of World War II, killed by the same weapon that made her legendary. That's the story. No Hollywood embellishment needed. Just the facts, the numbers, and the men who lived it.